stretch to say that's what the Creator God Almighty wants for us. The one that gave us life, gave us existence and our five senses and everything we could ever enjoy. This is a good God, a loving God that has the best intentions for us. But we need to take time to care enough to say, what does this God want from me? And you realize, not much. It's really very simple. It's like Christ said. He said, my yoke is easy, my load is light. So it's not burdensome. But it's very critical that we understand God's values and superimpose those upon typical human values and realize that our thinking is way different and we need to think way more like God. That human beings are the most precious treasure on this planet, not the silver and gold and money and crap, material possessions that are fleeting and temporal, okay? But souls of humanity that are everlasting, we're eternal, whether you're wicked or righteous, you're still going to live forever. It's just going to be determined where you go from here, where you need to go, where you're found worthy and deserving of going. It all makes perfect sense. It's just based on fairness. God is a totally fair God. In fact, each and every good, positive quality, characteristic, and attribute we learn from God. Anything we could ever accomplish that's of any use, any good in the scheme of things, we can thank God for. He gave us a brain, the ability to imagine, and then to make manifest everything we imagine on an invisible level. It's cosmic. We're cosmic creatures. We can't die. We've got to see death the way God sees death. It's written, to God all are alive. And do you think I'm always thinking about people that have passed in that context? No. I'm as human as you or anybody else. I get it. Christ was as human as anybody else, except for the fact he didn't have a biological dad. His only dad was the Creator God Almighty. He didn't need it. I mean, anybody that thinks God can't do that, I mean, come on. Come on, this is a God that laid out the universe and all the galaxies, all the life, all the flora, all the fauna. He's got control over gravity, magnetism, all these super duper forces in the universe. I mean, our planet, we're spinning around like a fine Swiss watch in this solar system. Mind-blowing accuracy on what a grand scale. I mean, that's what I mean about the wonderment of God's grandness. I mean, it never ends. It's just awesome beyond our wildest dreams. I mean, that's why it's good to spend time getting to know God, because he doesn't want us to be traumatized by his greatness, but he wants us to acknowledge the author of everything. I mean, this is the master of everything, of engineering and architecture, of geology, of mechanics, of mathematics, of science, of everything we could ever learn, of history. God is like, whoa, he's way out there above us. But one thing for sure we can all know is he wants us to get along with each other on planet Earth, like his children, well-behaved, being nice to each other, being sensitive and kind and respectful. All these things that make sense. He wants us to share and treat each other fairly. Treat each other equally with equal love and respect like he treats us. He doesn't play favorites. I mean, I'm just trying to be a good brother to my fellow human beings. A good son, however you want to look at me, just so it's a positive thing. When you realize we're family, and the only way that we're going to please God and find happiness is to treat each other as one family. That's fine. You have your little close biological family. I get that. Everybody gets that. Or they want to get it if they're adopted kids. They don't know who their parents were. Maybe they're from a sperm donor. I mean, there's a lot of different ways we come to be, but we're all of equal value to God, and we have to let each other know that. That is our belief, our view, because it came from God, and there's no better opinion or view to have, no better belief to have than the ones that he gives us. They're perfect. They put to rest all the imperfect crap that's filled with compromise. No, you have a right, a God-given right, to be everybody's friend, to love everybody unconditionally, even your enemy. It doesn't mean you're going to like them or want to hang out with them. Maybe somebody else needs to work on them before they evolve and realize, wow, I see why people didn't like me. But now not only do they love me, because that's something we have to do even for our enemies. We have to do it. We have to learn about forgiveness if we're going to forgive ourselves and be forgiven. But it's about liking. I mean, do you like God? Liking God is important, very important. You got to like the way he does business because it's really pretty gentle, but the message is clear when you get it. That's the whole born again thing. You're like, wow, what a distinction, what a departure. God's reality that he is going to impose upon this earth by force one day. God's will is going to be established. The evildoers will not prevail indefinitely. That's the way the story goes. Jesus laid it all out what the future holds for us. Friends, I'm telling you, it's going to be worlds apart from this one. So we need to get ready so it's not traumatic for the world of tomorrow. That God is running. And listen, the biggest change, okay, and this is a big one for a lot of people. This brings a lot of lamenting and just loathing and just they hate it. They hate the idea of a world without money, any form of money. There's no way for any man to get an advantage over another man. That's the way it's got to be. You do not want to stand before God on your day of reckoning, Judgment Day, and try to defend money. Okay, every other creature of far lesser intelligence than us has no need for this crap. Let's just be honest. A little kid can be honest and know the difference between honesty and dishonesty. Okay, and the fact is, if you're being honest, you have the capability, just as I do and everybody else does, to imagine an existence without any form of money. It's the only hope. It's the only answer. And the more certain I am, the more I investigate and explore this issue. There's no way. We just can't handle it. I'm sorry. Maybe it's nice in theory, okay, but it's stupid in the scheme of things. And looking at it from God's point of view. God's planet, rightfully, he's the sovereign of this earth, the only authority at the end of the day that's going to judge, okay? It's his planet. We're his equally beloved children. And he wants us to share from birth. So if we divvied out the resources of this planet, we're all just passing through, aren't we? So nobody owns anything. You're delusional to the extent that you believe you can own anything. Everything's borrowed. Even your own body you don't get to keep. We're owned, man. All of us are owned. This planet is owned. All those resources are owned. Manpower is owned. God gave us a desire to serve, to not be self-serving, decadent piss ants, lazy, slothful. We have God-given talents and we have energy and we want to be appreciated. We want to use our talents. We want to serve. We need to serve. Wild horses can't stop us from serving. Prove me wrong. You show me that world where we're handed our share of this planet's wealth at birth. Remember, that includes all the labor they're trading on Wall Street and all this crap. All this BS, man, it just sickens me. When I think of the direction of my country, I've had to watch this my whole life. When I was 5 years old, JFK was assassinated. This country would have been like the return of Christ took place. We'd have such fair economic justice in America with the dollar continuing to go up in worth, not down, maybe very temporarily. Okay, well, there was a genuine supply shortage, but other than that, your money's supposed to go up in worth. JFK knew that. He was an egalitarian. He was a good American. That's all. Into fairness and sound economic policy, sound dollars. That's it, man. It's as simple and cut and dry as that. That's what we need. And we could have that gradually, but the evildoers won't allow it. They're drunken, snot-nosed, spoiled brat children that have usurped, hijacked, taken over this freaking planet. That's what's happening. There's a multitude, an army of determined minions to suck up sycophants, brown nosers, bootlickers out there that say, it's a go with the flow. I'm educated. I make lots of money. Stop whining. You're just lazy. You're just stupid. Some other reason you're not fitting in and making gobs of dough, and you lack ambition. Something's wrong with you. You're the nut. It sickens me, man. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy being extravagant. Sure, I'd like to be. Just what idiot, what fool, what liar doesn't want to be rich and enjoy all the niceties of being rich, all the luxuries thereof? In the sight of God, well, better men and women than me sleep out in the cold, sometimes dying out there. Jesus said, that's me. Whatever you do or fail to do for the least of men, you do or fail to do for me. What don't you understand about that? A little child understands that. What's our excuse? A Christian nation? Oh, yes, America is so wonderful. I love this country more than anybody, probably. Dissent is the highest form of patriotism. Who said that? That makes sense to me. When you really care about something, you defend it, you stick up for it. But we've gone down the tubes. This country's been going down the tubes my whole life. It's supposed to be fair. It's not fair. And I don't like it, and I object vociferously, as you should too. God's ticked off. That's why he's going to have to use force. You don't get it. You don't understand. This is the God that laid out the universe. You think he can't impose his will on us? And how's it going to be? Get ready. No form of money. It too easily corrupts the hearts and minds of men. Do you know the wars that are started for profit? Do you know the countless homicides out there for money? And you think we're going to learn. We haven't learned in the year 2022. And we're going to learn. When we've been going, my whole life, the evidence shows we've been going the opposite way. The evil men have gotten more relevance by controlling the purse strings and making a huge swath of the population poor, a permanent underclass in their minds. And we're just going to keep in servitude. They're not going to have no other French Revolution BS. We're not taking that crap. Oh no, we got all the armies. We own them all. And we control the purse strings. Their paychecks are involved. We own all the law enforcement. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. You know, what if they had a war and nobody came? These damn politicians. Get your ass out there. Biden, you get your ass over there in the Ukraine. You defend the Ukrainians from the Russians, those bad Russians. I don't know what the hell's going on over there. I think it's kind of like what they got going on in Ireland or something, for all I know. It has something to do with some psycho-religious principles. I don't know. That's what Ireland is all about. Yeah, you got Northern Ireland controlled by the Brits, and that's always been stuck in the craw of the true Irish people, you know, but it's Protestant Catholics. That's what it is. The North is Protestant. The South is controlled by the Catholics. And when I was living there when I was 10, there was bombings all the time. All kinds of crap was going on. A lot of terrorism. But what's going on in the Ukraine is probably similar. Some stupid little feud that started one little thing, and, you know, somebody important that, you know, and it's like, oh, it spun out of control. And now it's a quagmire. But, I mean, I don't know that much about Vladimir Putin to judge him. The people like him. It's a democracy, right? They vote, and they just like him. They want him to stay in. They like him. He's a strong man. And they trust him, and, you know, that's it. End of the story. So we can't say he's a dictator. He's not. But, you know, I mean, here we are, ready to go to war again for profit. But we can't handle money, friends. I mean, that at the end of the day, that's it. Okay, and the only other anomaly, the peculiarity that humans have that's distinct from all the other creatures, which have no use for money, but clothing is the other one. We're all a little bit crazy. How can't we be? I mean, when you think about how can we not all be a little bit psycho? I mean, there's something very wrong with our humanhood. There's some, we're just nuts, and you need to understand where it's from. It's the only explanation I have. The original sin, the fall of man, this eating of the tree of forbidden fruit, and then this got in our DNA and affected us because our brain, our mind is a part of this whole thing, our hearts. Everything is all just been kind of polluted, fouled up. And, wires got crossed, and we don't know up from down. We don't know right from wrong. We separate ourselves from God, and that's that sin. It's that sense of being separated from God, which we never should have felt. I mean, can you imagine the first question God asked Adam after his fall? And Adam and Eve felt shame over their nakedness. I mean, what's that all about? Why do they feel shame? Probably that's why I think this forbidden fruit had something to do with relations between demonic creatures. So we're kind of struggling with demon tendencies.